Why do I have to include my parents' information on the FAFSA? Hey there, I'm Tina Steele, the FAFSA Guru. Be sure to give me a follow for all things financial aid. I get so many of these questions on a daily basis, especially from students and parents who say the student is out living on their own, fully self-supporting, so it doesn't seem fair that parent information has to be provided. I totally understand your frustration. But the government asks a series of questions in order to determine a student's dependency status, and they are not necessarily taking into consideration whether or not the student is out living on their own, fully self-supporting, unfortunately. The government considers students dependent, and they need their parents' income until they're 24 years old or until they get married or have a child of their own that they provide more than half support for, or they get a bachelor's degree. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. A few other ways students could be independent and not need their parent information would be if they're a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces, if they were at risk of being homeless within the last year, if they were a ward of the court after the age of 13, if both parents are deceased, or someone other than their parents has legal guardianship of them as determined by a court of law. If any of those things applies, then a student would be independent and does not need to provide parent information. In some cases, student financial aid offices can make a student independent by doing what's called a professional judgment or override, if they don't meet one of those circumstances that I just outlined. But there usually has to be some extenuating circumstances in the household, such as estrangement from parents, documented abuse, etc. And sometimes, depending on the college, if a student is out on their own, working full-time, fully self-supporting, sometimes the college financial aid office will make them independent, but that's very, very rare. That would tend to happen more maybe at like the community college level. I know it doesn't seem fair, especially when students are considered adults when they turn 18 years old. And for those students that are out on their own, supporting themselves, it feels especially unfair. But unfortunately, those are the federal regulations. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks so much for watching.